Optocoupler fun. Let's crack on. Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as it's part 2 of the Sanyo VTC5600P Betacord. And we left it in part 1 that I'd run out of time and sorting out the optocoupler issue, and we recycled an optocoupler from a Philips V2000, but of course the pinouts are all wrong. So yeah, I've put them in and rewired the PCB, so it's sort of, well, they're actually the other way round. So this was the LED, this is now the pickup, this is now the LED, which is, no, I've got that wrong, that's the pickup, that's the LED, but it's the wrong way around at the moment. So I have actually got some more LEDs now, and I've got very few machines with optocouplers that I could steal, and very few machines that are actually scrap, which it's sort of victim of my own success, that I fix so much stuff that I have very few scrap machines, a load of C9s, but yeah, that's about it really, and those I bought scrap. So anyway, I'm going to change this for a proper LED, red LED, and take it from there. Let's crack on. Okay, so that's in. It's a bit makeshift at the moment, but let's try it. That's looking good. Counter. Now, I don't think the counter will actually count until it's actually doing a mode, if that makes sense. So in stop, if I break it, it won't count. No, okay. So what I need to do is get the meter and to see if we've got any outputs. Oh, well, that's immediately a lot better. So that is actually working now. I could do with sorting out some sort of shroud. I mean, in theory, it doesn't really need it where it is as well. Okay, so it's all back together. Put the optocoupler assembly back in, and spools. I haven't put any shrouds or anything around it yet. Whether I will, it doesn't really need it, to be honest, where it is. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. I did actually trim the leads. Oh, it is already in. Oh, already laced. So it still doesn't count. So oh, okay. So the fan does fan. So the fan does come on when it's in play. Is it trying to keep the power supply cool? I wouldn't have thought. That's a bit, well, I mean, later machines had it. But that is working. The counter isn't going up, which surprises me. What makes the what makes the counter go up? Yeah, the relay click and it turns the fan on. It's hilarious. Okay, so yeah, we've sorted that optocoupler. It was obviously weak. They do degrade with age. I mean, certain ones just seem to not last that well. and others are fine. I don't think there's any rhyme nor reason to it, to be honest. But yeah, great, super. Okay. I suppose the next thing now is to, well, can I press eject? Yeah, that proves the point. It was picking up no spool movement, so it was lacing back up. So yay, sorted that out. Okay, so the next thing I need to do now is get the top loading system back on, and then we can try cassettes and to see what's going on there, see what the picture's like, and I'm just intrigued to see what the counter issue is, whether I'm missing something in the way the counter actually works. But okay, well, that's positive. That's really great. Let's crack on. So let's get the carriage back on. Need to power it back up so I can eject it. And lovely. I think that's fully ejected. Yes, it is. Okay. Now, how do I do this? It'd be nice if you just push. I'm not convinced I'm doing this right, because there's, I don't even quite see at the bottom, there's another, you can just about make out that one, there's another locating sort of it's not a roller thing, and I need to get this on there, and then do I press in? Because there's a metal plate, it makes it very difficult to sort of get right. You see that it's just not sitting. It should be further down than that. Do I have to loosen off the screws? Is that the secret? Because when I loosened off the screws, it did make it, well, it seemed to make it a lot easier to get it past the gears. Oh, do you do it like, slap that off, get it on the bottom, I don't know how you align it, get it on the bottom, then put it onto the top. That side's on. It's crooked anyway. Is that it? Yes, it is. Okay. So, yeah, that's down tight as well. So you tip this back, get it on the bottom runners with this side loose, then pull it forward, sort of make sure it's horizontal, put it forward so it engages, and then push in the top two. That seems to do it. Magic. And yeah, well, we'll see how it goes anyway, but feels a little bit smoke and mirrors, but it is what it is. Just realised as well I have to put the cable management back on the whoops, on the optocoupler cabling underneath. I shall do that in the fullness of time. Right, okay, so that's back in. I was just a bit concerned because this was flexing the panel a bit. Too busy looking at that to actually look at anything else. Okay, so this has PL259 connectors on the back of it, so it's like JVC. So I'm going to just connect it all up. We'll try a cassette. Let's crack on. Okay, so let's power it on. Try the test tape, and we have no lacing. Oh. So maybe my timing is not quite right on that. This is where a manual would be very, very useful, because obviously there's something that needs to happen. Don't know whether I can. Oh, I can. Let's try again. Oh, I don't like that at all. It's a bit, because I'm not convinced I've actually got that truly horizontal. Well, it's looking okay. Time will tell, I suppose. So let's just start a capture. Oh, we have Capstan. Lock issues. Pause. It says slow, but I'm guessing that might be on the remote, which I don't have. Right, okay. Well, that's a start. Now, the counter is still not advancing, which is slightly concerning. Oh. Yeah, it's pressing, keeping your finger on pause advances the frame. Fair enough. says does what it says on the button. Okay. So, okay, so we have a Capstan issue. We also have problems with the counter. Counter could be very, very interesting, to be fair. But, yeah, okay. Big problem I have as well is trying to sort of work on anything on the bottom board with it playing a tape, because I can't really do it on its side without it falling over. I might have to sort of fabricate something so it doesn't fall over, but yeah, not ideal. Okay, let's crack on. Okay, so servo circuitry is on this side. Drop the board down, which you can't see, but yeah, I've turned the Capstan speed right the way up, as high as it will go. This has got 1000 kilohertz sine wave on it, and I'm getting to 920. Let's just do a capture. So see there, if I turn it down, it's going down to like 800-ish, and all the way up at 920 hertz. So yeah, it's just running slow. So yeah, I mean, there's not a huge amount to sort of go at. It's using a Sony chip. So it's very tempting to say that it is actually capacitors, and there are some suspect ones. These grey ones may well be low, dried out. I mean, obviously I don't have any schematics, but it's a Sony chip, so this will probably be the same as used in C5, I guess, C7, maybe. I might compare, but I'm tempted to just recap just this little section. I hate doing things blind like that. I'd rather know what's going on, but I'm tempted to do that. It's actually a little bit tricky to get at as well, because there's 4 screws fixing this, and you've got these assemblies as well to remove, so it's a little bit of a fiddle. And then you've got the fold down panel as well, so it's not easy. But yeah, I think I might do that, then put it back together, see what happens, and then if it's no better, then we'll just have to do some diagnostics, go a bit deeper, have a look at the C5 manual, or, well, yeah, probably C5 to be honest, and take it from there. So yeah, let's crack on. So I'm just thinking, I wonder if it's missing control pulses, and that's why we've got no counter as well, because if we're missing control pulses, that will give us the same issue potentially with the Capstan. So yeah, maybe you ought to check that first. Okay, well, the additional capacitors, the bipolar ones, arrived today. So that one and that one, plus that one there. I'm not bothering with the head servo side because the heads seem to be absolutely fine. Tested the caps. They're all relatively okay, to be fair, with the exception of that one, which was, I seem to remember, that was reading really quite high, and yeah, ESR was, it wasn't terrible, but it was just reading high, which to me suggests that probably it's not great. I mean, obviously when you apply heat they do reform, but the rest were relatively okay. Nothing that really stood out as being dodgy, so I'm half expecting when I put this back in to still have the problem, but at least I know I've got good caps. Wasn't that many, worth doing. So yeah, I'll pop this back in and we'll give it a test. Let's crack on. Well, pretty much as I predicted. Straight to those caps made no difference whatsoever. Now what I have found out is, I mean, the chipset is exactly the same as the Sony C7, C5. 143A for the Capstan and 186 for the head motor. So I should be able to work things through by using the manual for the C5, C7. I don't have any counter. Rich did actually say, "Oh, has it got a Hall effect for the counter?" No, it doesn't. It's a nice thought, but it does actually use the optocoupler pulses to advance the counter. But of course, that is working because it's playing. It wasn't playing before because it wasn't picking up the pulses. So we've obviously got something wrong there. But I think that's because of something that's going on with the Capstan side of things. Now, I would sort of suspect a lack of control pulses, because it does really look like a lack of control pulses. But it is, I mean, it's just generally running slow. I mean, this is the Capstan control is actually running, well, it's as far advanced as I can make it. So yeah, and it's still too slow, and where it was like really slow. So yeah, it's obviously a problem there. But if I this is from the control head. If I unplug this, there we go. So that's unplugged. And it's going to make a lie out of me now. It's actually struggling to keep speed, so that's with no control pulses. That's actually quite interesting because, yeah, there we go, it's gone off now. But it's getting control pulses. Let's just try that again, because that's actually slightly different behaviour. Yeah, there we go. So it starts really losing it. There we go. So plug that back in and it picks them back up. So it's obviously aware of control pulses, but I need to find out why. I mean, I think it's just motor control is running slow, and I need to work out exactly how that all does run, and where the problem is, whether we've got a bad transistor, drive transistor. Not having a manual doesn't help, but yeah, I'm sure I can work it out. But yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so I went through all the caps on the servo board, and they've all been changed for the Capstan. But there were also caps on this top board here. Now this has the driver transistor for the Capstan motor. Yeah, so I was really pleased when I actually found that one capacitor actually had visible signs of leakage. So I thought, great, fantastic, that's probably what's doing it. Putting down a rail or whatever. Changed it, checked it, yeah, it was bad, and it made no difference whatsoever. So I've dug out the C5, Sony C5 manual, which uses basically the same chips as the Sanyo, and yeah, it's actually quite interesting, because one thing I hadn't quite appreciated is that these machines actually also use the Capstan motor, or do they? Yeah, I was going to say use the Capstan motor to lace and unlace, but no, I think it uses this motor for lacing and unlacing. So that does change things a bit. Yeah, because it would have been interesting if it used the Capstan motor. It would have been interesting to actually check that, because with the C5, you get about what is it, 2.6 volts when you're sort of playing back record, but on eject it goes up to like 10 volts, so it's actually using a 12-volt rail to power the whole of that circuit. But of course this won't, because it's got its own that would have been quite interesting to check. My worst fear is that we have a bad capstan motor. Maybe a winding has gone bad on it. But I'm not even going to think about that, because where on earth I'm going to find a motor to replace that, I don't know. I mean, the FG is screwed onto the top of like a motor, but yeah, good luck trying to find that. Okay, so let's do some voltage checks. Now, obviously, this and the C5 are going to be different, but I would like to think that they're not that different. So, driver transistor should be 2.6. So we do have a relay. Now this relay switches between playback, record, and then the special modes like the still and the Q. There's no review on this machine. This is literally Q, so you only go forward. First thing I'm going to do is just turn it on. I'm just going to fast forward it a little bit because there's a bit of damage at the beginning of this cassette. Yeah, so it's using the head. It's using the head motor to drive the reels. So, not playback. I have to say the fan is starting to really annoy me. I don't understand why they did that, but anyway, there would have been better ways to. I think it is used for cooling. You can hear it over the rest of the deck. The deck is actually really refined, and that fan is a pain. Anyway, yes, so so I would expect that to be 2.6 volts. And it isn't. And it sort of does tie in, because 2.6 volts, which is what the C5 would be providing, that sort of marries in with how slow this is going, actually, relative to where that pot was. So, where are we? I've got a big contact there. 1.7. How high can we go? 1.9. Yeah, that is as far as it will go. So I would expect 2.6 volts on there. So we've got 12-volt rail there. I say 12-volt rail, that is actually the trigger for it. So that's the voltage for play. If I press pause, that drops, and this relay's clicked over. So where are we? There's a 12-volt rail. So there's nothing there. If I press, no, that's not right. I've forgotten where this all goes. Yeah, so that's a frame advance. If I take my finger off, pause, which frame advance, like slow. You can see the slow there, which is 1.6 volts ish. So go back to play. 1.82 volts, 83. So that's actually slowed down. It's actually a lower voltage. 0.82. Okay. So we've got two transistors that drive the main drive transistor. So we've got 12 volts on there. We've got 2.5 volts on there, which is what I'd expect. That's sort of what I'd expect to see. So that's in play. If I pause it, it goes down. Now if I go to the emitter of this other transistor, so it's Q23, I think it's 2303, yeah. And frame advance, I'm getting about a volt. Take my finger off, frame advance, nothing. Again, nothing on this one. Press play, 2.38, 2.39. So 2.5 volts there. But we've got quite a significant drop. Now, is that drop because of the motor? Or is it because we've got a lazy transistor? I did just do a basic check across it, and it appears fine, but that means that's fairly meaningless, to be honest. Just out of interest, what does it actually do when we press eject? So if I put that there, interesting, it goes to 5 volts. That's actually really interesting. Goes to 5 volts. If we look at, goes to 5 volts. Say 733. So if we go there, let's put the cassette back in. Goes up to 7 volts. That's interesting because it's sort of almost doing. That's actually interesting that it's actually much lower than on the C5, but is that correct? Should it be that low? So yeah. So I know we were hoping to get this going in part 2, and I really wanted to get this going in part 2. But I have run out of time again. And so, yeah, it's going to be a part 3, unfortunately. I have no choice. I'm sorry that it's, yeah, taking so long. But, yeah, it's just how it is at the moment. So, if you have a manual for one of these, let me know. I know Fivos does have a paper manual, and he did say he'd send over some extra scans and bits and pieces. I know he's helped Rich out, who had this machine. He sent me some of the manual that Fivos sent him. Fivos also sent me power supply schematics, which is going to be really useful, because what I will do in part 3 is I will take out the power supply, because I'm actually quite concerned that that power supply needs at least an eyeball and maybe some critical caps changed, because given that every single capacitor here read odd, is sort of like higher value than they should be, and I've had a leaky one as well, I would like to get at least the power supply checked and recapped, in part anyway, just to keep it reliable. So yeah, we'll dig that out in part 3 and have a look at it. And I'm still really intrigued by the fan. So yeah, with that, thank you very much for watching. We've actually got lots of interesting stuff to come. We've got a Fisher tape deck, which I alluded to in a poll, and a few other sort of half-done videos that I've sort of struggled to get parts or get time to finish. So yeah, hopefully see you in another video. Bye for now.